Hey guys, Hermes What Ifs here, bringing you guys my first ever what if concept. This being, what if Goku was born with mystic powers? This is going to be my first ever Dragon Ball what if, and first ever what if in general. So if you guys enjoy the video, please make sure to go down below, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys thought. That being said, I don't want to hold you guys for too long, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So our story is actually all going to start off when Goku's born, and essentially nothing here is really going to change, seeing as he doesn't have any real latent potential, seeing as he's a baby. Or that's essentially how I'm looking at things. I'm looking at things from a perspective of, okay, he's a baby, hasn't trained a day in his life, probably not too much potential. If anything, I guess we could say he has like a power level of 20, but that doesn't really change a thing with, the narrative or, what's going to happen in terms of him being sent to Earth. That being said, Goku is still going to be sent to Earth, and Gine as well as Bardock are still going to be destroyed by Frieza's blast that pretty much destroyed planet Vegeta. That being said, this would proceed to lead into Goku being sent off into, Earth like usual, and Gohan will of course find him, and all of the events will essentially go the same up until the day where Goku starts training. Now this is where the story is actually going to start to change. Immediately when he starts training Goku gets extremely powerful and masters many abilities and techniques that Gohan tries to teach him incredibly fast. Seeing as he has a lot of potential and a lot to learn, Goku's potential just skyrockets and he just learned things awfully fast. He's always in his mystic form, seeing as it's not a transformation, but I think it's more like a state of being. And that's essentially how I'm going to be using it in the what if. So that being said, Goku's hairstyle is of course going to remain the same as it does in canon. But the reason that you guys see what's on the thumbnail is for a certain reason I got cooking up. That being said though, Goku will of course proceed to basically train and grow very fast, exponentially, as he would end up getting to a power level of about 100 in just a few years that he spends training martial arts with Gohan. Of course, the events of Goku transforming into a great ape will still occur, and Gohan will of course still be killed. That being said, Goku would basically be up in the mountains training by himself, just like he does in canon, getting his power level to be at about the power of, let's say, 200. His power level comes to be at nah, that's too small. I'd say it was a couple of years, so I'd say a power level of 300. Yes, a power level of 300, boys. That being said, we would of course then have the day where Bulma comes in with her car and smashes into Goku, leading into Goku taking her back and her trying to show a little some to Goku, but Goku being like, "What's that?" And of course, Bulma would, do her usual stuff. That being said though, Goku would of course go through the Emperor Pilaf saga, where honestly the real changes here would essentially just be the level of difficulty that comes with Goku and the Emperor gang, I guess you could say. They never end up getting captured by Emperor Pilaf, seeing as, Goku is too powerful, essentially. He's way too strong to get captured. And they would, of course, end up meeting people like Yamcha and Pula and, all the characters that we meet in Dragon Ball. That being said, this would lead them into going to Roshi's island. And Roshi would still end up giving Goku the little Nimbus, as well as, telling Goku that he can actually come train with him when he's done with doing what he's doing. Which of course would end up leading into Goku essentially going to train with Master Roshi after the Emperor Pilaf saga, where they ended up, ruining Emperor Pilaf's plans. And what's it called? Bulma actually ends up wishing for the perfect boyfriend. But as it so happens, nothing happens because he's standing right here and it's going to be a Bulma ship. Yes, let's go. Anyways, that being said though, we would of course then have Goku essentially go over to Master Roshi's island, and he would begin to train with him, where he would meet a boy by the name of Krillin. They would end up growing a relationship in which they're basically sort of rivals, if you could even call it that, because, well, our boy Krillin is not exactly the strongest in the universe up until this point. Of course, we'll then have, our usual stuff happening, and with them basically training and getting ready for the first Tenkaichi Budokai that Goku's in, I believe it is. And well, of course, Master Roshi would of course tell him to hold back, and he would still end up getting into the tournament, leading into Goku basically smashing everybody, and Krillin and Goku basically getting into the same fight that they had in canon. Except changes will start to occur here when Roshi and Goku fight. After this amount of time that Goku's been training with Master Roshi, he's gotten his potential to be at about the level, let's say, how strong was Goku? Let's just say that Goku's at about a power level of 500. Yes, 500. That sounds a little insane, but it's nothing. It's nothing. Y'all will see what's going to happen later, and y'all are going to be like, hold on now. I'm going to need you to chill out. But yeah, of course, we would then have Goku smack this man. He would smack this man out of the arena, and this would lead into Zero Moon stuff happening and Roshi not even needing to do that stuff. Seeing as Goku's tail, well, let's just say that it's not really a problem for Goku in this version. It's going to be a problem later on, though. But anyways, that being said, though, we would, of course, then have Goku essentially basically go back. And this is when he would essentially be informed about the Red Ribbon Army. And this would begin this arc. Except in this version, our main character, protagonist Goku, would not have a problem in the world with dealing with these guys, seeing as none of their power levels go any higher than even 200. So of course Goku would proceed to basically slap all these people, and he would end up single-handedly destroying the Red Ribbon Army, leading into afterwards him being, basically him being told by Master Roshi to go train at the Tower of God, I guess you could say. And he would end up meeting Korin, where he would drink the water of, I don't even know what the water's called, honestly, but you know what I'm talking about, though. He would end up drinking that the fountain of power water or whatever, and this would essentially lead into Goku training for a couple of years with Master Korin, in which he would actually tell Goku after about 1 week that there's nothing he can really teach him, seeing as Goku's already exponentially stronger. So this would lead into Goku actually being trained by, actually being trained by Kami himself, and this would actually lead into Goku's power doubling, and he would reach a power level of 1000 by the time of the second, world tournament that they have, in which Tien is at, leading into Goku's and Tien's battle pretty much going a lot different. At first, they would of course pace themselves, with Goku basically trying to have as much fun as possible. But seeing as, no matter what Tien does, the outcome is always going to remain the same. Goku's power level is far too great for Tien to handle, and he would end up, of course, taking down Tien, just like all of us would expect. This being said, we would then essentially basically have Goku offer Tien a spot with them, where they would essentially, basically finish everything off. And this is when we would then, of course, have the King Piccolo saga, where we would essentially have Krillin still be killed just like he was in the original. But when Goku finds him, he would lose himself to a rage, which would have his hair flow up into the air in the way that it looks in the thumbnail. And Goku would proceed to basically get angry, as he would say, just being like, I won't let you get away with this, that usual Goku scream. And of course, we would have Goku basically fly off, as he would proceed to basically search for the person who killed him, as he would lock onto a power level of King Piccolo, where as soon as he sees him, he would say, hey, as he would be in the air, and he would say, Kame, Hame, and King Piccolo would see this, as he would say, no, and just yell like, what are you doing here? As he would try to shoot a mouth blast at Goku, but it would be incinerated, and King Piccolo would be blown aback, almost dead. But before he could actually get the chance to die, he would spit out the egg, which would lead to Piccolo being born. And this would essentially lead into the gang essentially looking for the Dragon Balls and wishing Krillin back. And during this time, Goku's actually going to be training on his own with Master Akami once again. He would return back to the tower, and he would continue to train in the hyperbolic time chamber, except this time his potential and the year gap that we have before the final tournament with Piccolo, we would have a couple of years, a solid amount of years actually, for them to essentially train for a while. And this would lead into Goku's power actually being doubled once again. His power level would rise to be at about, what you talking about? Double? Man, I feel like I'm slacking too much on this Mystic. He would get a power level of about 10,000 by the time of the Piccolo Jr. saga. And this would lead into Piccolo essentially trying everything and anything that he can, such as a solar flare to blind Goku. And he would try to actually stab him, but right as he does, Goku would, use his aura to basically blast Piccolo off of him. And he would end up taking him down, offering him a senzu bean after the battle was over, and telling him to basically leave and never return. As Piccolo would begrudgingly take the senzu, and he would end up leaving, training for the next couple of years, which would lead into the time skip to Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyan saga. We would, of course, have everything essentially be starting with Goku essentially, after the tournament with Piccolo, we would actually have Bulma and Goku actually get together during that time period. And in case this what if isn't the greatest thing already in the world, and to apologize, seeing as this is my first, and I still am not like the best in the universe in terms of pacing for this, but your boy trying. With that being said though, we would of course then jump on into the Raditz saga, where things would finally begin to have some changes. See, in this version, Goku would not actually end up being married to Chi-Chi, meaning that Goku, instead of, living in the way that he does, like out in the woods and all that, he would actually be with Bulma, meaning that when they went to their get-together, Bulma would actually be present, and we would then have Gohan actually coming out of nowhere. Yes, Gohan. He will not be having no purple hair, because it does not look good on Gohan. Trunks rocks that, but Gohan, it's ill. It's not okay. That being said though, Gohan would actually be born with something similar to like his father's. He would also be born with Ultimate, or I guess we could say Mystic. And with that being said, we would then essentially have Goku essentially go to the meetup, where we would of course then have Raditz come in and basically take down Piccolo just like he does in canon, leading to Raditz essentially going to Kami House and leading to him trying to basically call out to Kakarot. But when he does, his scouter picks up a power level greater than 3,000, this being Goku. And we would then have Raditz approach him very cautiously, seeing as Raditz isn't the type of person to come at somebody stronger than him in the way that, well, he did in the original. So this version of Raditz would say, "Kakarot, what are you doing here? Where is your tail?" As Goku would say, well, yeah, I did not mean to do that. Goku would basically look towards Raditz and say, what are you doing here? And what is your name? As he would say, "Kakarot, you don't know your older brother?" As we would then have Goku basically be shocked, and everybody else be like, "Goku, do you know what he's talking about?" With Goku saying, "No, I don't have an older brother, so you can just leave us alone." With the encounter going a lot different, and Raditz basically saying, "You're a traitor to the Saiyan race," as he would end up basically trying to take Gohan by force. But as soon as he does that, Goku would use his ultimate form in a quick burst, as he would blitz Raditz and punch him in the stomach, causing him to puke blood out. And this would then lead into Goku telling him, "Leave now and don't return," as Raditz would then say, "I'll be back," as we would then have Raditz essentially calling over to the other Saiyans, telling them to come because Kakarot was far too powerful, leading into Raditz actually proceeding to train. But seeing as this man doesn't have ultimate, he would not get the same benefits that Goku does. And after hearing that some Saiyans are going to return, Goku would definitely not be slacking. As soon as this is all heard, Piccolo would return and basically say that he's an ally. And this would lead into Piccolo as well as Goku actually training Gohan, leading into Goku getting a sparring partner of Piccolo and its potential going up through the roof. By the time of the Saiyan saga, Goku's power level would be at a power of 50,000. Yes, you heard that right. 50,000. With with Piccolo's power level being at a solid 18,000 in terms of his power level. And Gohan, you ready for this? He has the potential of a hybrid, and not only that, but Gohan has Mystic on top of that. Boys, he's at a power level of 60,000. As we would get to the Saiyan saga, and by the time that they arrive, This would result in Goku immediately telling them off to get out of their planet, with Piccolo handling Nappa, as well as Gohan being in there, and Goku fighting against Vegeta, which would lead into a battle that would go a lot different than it does to canon. About a couple seconds into it, Vegeta would notice that he's on a losing side of things, and he would tell Nappa to throw one of the balls into the air, which Nappa would of course willingly do, and they would both transform into their great Ozarus, with Goku actually looking into the air and seeing as he hasn't transformed since the day of Gohan, he still kept his tail. So at the moment of that happening, Gohan as well as Goku would transform into great apes, leading into a giant battle in which they're going extremely berserk, and their power levels would, I'm pretty sure the Ozaru form is a 10 times multiplier. So Goku would be at about a power level of what's 50,000 times 10? 500,000. Yeah, 500,000 I believe. Yeah, 500,000, with Gohan being at 600,000. That being said, they would completely obliterate Vegeta and Nappa, and this would lead into Piccolo having to cut off all of their tails. He would of course have an extremely hard time doing this, but he would actually be able to do it with the assistance of Krillin, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, and Chaozu, who actually commits suicide to blow off Goku's tail. This being said, they would revert back to their normal states, and we would then have everybody basically wonder what's happened, with Vegeta begging for his life and telling Goku about Frieza, telling him about the Tyrant and what he has done, and Goku saying that he doesn't know who this Frieza guy is, as Vegeta would explain to Goku that since if they die here, Frieza will be coming soon, and Goku would then proceed to say, "Let him come," as he would point his hand down at Vegeta, and right before he can blast it, Gohan would say, "Wait, Dad, don't kill him," as Goku would look towards his son and he would say, "Why?" And Gohan would then proceed to say that if they can use these guys, they may be to their advantage. Maybe having another Saiyan with them wouldn't be such a bad thing. As Goku would hear him out, and he would then let Vegeta live, leading into them essentially getting ready for Namek and using the Saiyan pods to basically go back to planet Namek, where they're basically going to try to essentially go to Frieza. Wait, no, that wouldn't happen at all. Frieza would realize about what's happening, or what let's see, how can I make them go to Namek? Chaozu. Let's just say that Piccolo died trying to cut off the tails, and since he died, the Dragon Ball, yeah, I know guys, I'm pulling this out of my ass, I ain't gonna lie, but it's Kudo. That being said, we would of course have them all be training, ready to go to Namek with the gravity chamber, and Goku and Vegeta actually increasing their powers by a lot. Gohan would also be in the ship with them, and the normal team would actually, Gohan would be on the ship with him, and the team that actually goes to Namek would consist of Krillin, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, and Bulma, of course. And we would then have the Saiyans basically aboard the ship, as they would essentially start getting ready to face Frieza and revive all of their friends. They never even knew Frieza was there, but they're there to revive their friends. That being said though, guys, this is where I am going to be leaving this first part off. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know what you guys thought, and give me some tips to improve my storytelling. Let me know what you guys thought about this. But yeah, that being said, it has been Hermes What Ifs, and I am out. Peace.